YouTube, it's been a while, I know, but I've had another one or two or I don't know how many dreams. It was last night, so I'm gonna call it one. I'm gonna make one video, but it was like two different scenarios kind of merged together that both felt like apocalyptic. Um, yeah, I've had little like bad weather dreams. I've had those a lot since my last video, but like nothing that really felt, you know, necessarily end of the worldy as much as they were just bad weather dreams, which those are pretty common. But this dream I had, or rather sleeping in this morning, was very different. It felt like it was, apocalyptic to me. It felt different. I'm not saying that like it had any specific connections to scripture that I know of, but it just felt like they usually feel. So I'm going to talk about it. The first half was kind of strange. I mean, they're always strange, but I was with my family, like my whole family, like aunts and uncles and cousins and everything. We were at my grandparents' house, just kind of huddled in my grandparents' actual bedroom in their house. And it can get pretty cramped in there, so it was just weird having all of us in there. And the lights were out, and we were just sitting there talking about something, waiting for something to happen. Like something big. And it seemed like we had a radio on, or TV, or something. Like we were watching the news, or listening to the news. But I don't remember specifically what we were waiting for. And it was just eerie. Like we were all just sitting there, and my little baby cousin was talking to my aunt, like asking just strange questions. And it seemed like there had been some kind of big flood in the area, which I live in Ohio, and we don't get many floods. um, at least nothing that, nothing tsunami proportioned. So we were just talking amongst ourselves. I wish I could remember conversation, but like I said, that was the first half, and I never remember the first half of dreams as easily as the rest. So there was that, and then, cut to next scene, whatever, because dreams just do that. We were either at a beach in the late afternoon, or we were in this area that was flooded and wasn't supposed to look like a beach, but did. My guess is the latter, because it, I don't know, it was like there was a lot of debris floating around, and we were just talking, and it was such a glum feeling, like it was just, not a very cheerful situation at all. Like we were all just wandering, not even gathered really closely. We were just spread out along what wasn't supposed to be a beach but looked like a beach, just like picking up random objects. And I want to say maybe there was a body floating around, but that could just be my imagination adding that. It wouldn't have surprised me if there was, but I don't really remember specifically. I just remember there was stuff everywhere floating around, and it looked like a beach, but there were like buildings really close by, and I don't know, that's weird for a beach. Usually it's just sand. So we were just, I mean, that's all I remember about that. The next part is just really bizarre, but I don't know, I feel like it could have a lot of symbolic meaning to it, but maybe that's just me. The next part is me wandering alone in let's see, on my campus here, there are a couple buildings that are like really, really, really old and are like more famous than the rest because they're as old as they are. and some people even say they're haunted because they've been around that long. But the atmosphere of the inside of them, like, they just look like old-timey, and they're just really interesting buildings to wander around in. But I never just do it. I've had classes there before, but I've never just wandered in there. But I was in one of them in this dream. I was just, at least that's what it looked like. I was wandering around in one of the older campus class buildings, just wandering the halls. The lights weren't on, but it was daytime. There's a little sunlight coming through windows, but it was just a very, again, it was just really eerie. weren't There weren't any lights on. A lot of the doors were closed. It didn't feel like I was there for class or anything because I was alone. And I hear something shuffling behind me, and I turn around and there's an elk, like a male deer with really big antlers, just kind of standing there looking at me. And I'm like, I don't know how you got in here, but I'm just gonna walk away and pretend I didn't see you. So I start walking, and it like scraped its hoof on the floor like it's gonna charge at me. And I start walking faster, and it charges. And so I book it down the hall, and I'm just looking every direction trying to find like an open door or some way to get out of its way. And there's like an opening in the wall, not like a door, but you know how walls, there's going to be turns, but like it doesn't lead to another part of the hallway. It's just like a turn, and there were two doors, and one of them was an elevator, and the other, I don't know where it led. So I just practically tuck and roll into that area next to this elevator door, and I start pounding on the elevator button to get it to open for me. And the deer passes me and just kind of snorts and then keeps walking forward. And the elevator door opens, and it's a stairwell. So it's like, I don't know, like I don't end up walking up or down them if I remember correctly. It was just weird because it's supposed to be an elevator, but the door opened, you know, like an elevator door, and then there were stairs. So yeah, it was weird. And then I kept wandering, turned a few times, and I spotted another large animal out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but I'm not going to give it time to charge at me. And I just kept walking really quickly, and it like growled, and I glanced back, and it was like this really big black wolf dog thing. And it had like, I don't know, it might have had glowing eyes, maybe not, but it was growling. And as soon as I passed it, it like started following me, and I came to another little turn in the wall, and I just really slowly just inched my way in instead of like turning really fast, because you know, with dogs and big cats and whatnot, they say if you run they will chase you and they'll kill you. So I just kind of turned really carefully, and it passed me, and it just looked at me and whimpered. And it was creepy. It was just so bizarre, because it was like this huge wolf dog looking thing coming after me, not really quickly, but it was following me, and I'm like, this thing's following me and growling, it's gonna eat my face. And so I turn, and it just looks up at me and just keeps walking, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? And really, that's all I remember about that. But it was the atmosphere that makes me feel like it was apocalyptic in some way. I mean, if not apocalyptic, it really felt like it could have meant something prophetic, or just, I don't know. To be fair, I did drink a little last night, and I did sleep really well because of that. But they say that, you know, alcohol and different foods and stuff will mess with your dreams, and I could go on and on about that. Just how like finger foods give you weird dreams, drinking milk before bed gives you nightmares. Like, I've experienced all of this, and it is true. But I'd like to think that maybe God is giving me another really interesting, worth talking about dream. And my roommates are screaming about something. I don't know why. But yeah, I'd really like to think that I'm having, you know, important dreams and that they mean something and that people would like to hear about them, as opposed to I drank some beer last night and it gave me funky dreams and they don't mean anything. So I thought I'd make a video about it. This is October 5th. I'm saying that because I won't be able to upload this video on October 5th, but in case that means anything to anybody, it's October 5th. So, yeah, that's all I've got to talk about. That probably took way longer than I anticipated, but whatever. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for messaging, thanks for commenting and whatnot. So, yeah, I'll hopefully have more dreams to talk about eventually. So, God bless, bye.